So my topic is very simple, anemia and chronic kidney disease. I will cover it in two parts. One is the anemia, second is the chronic kidney disease. So this is the institute where I do work. So basically anemia, according to WHO, and this was the global strategy of WHO to deal with the anemia, that near about 29% population is anemic, non-pregnant, and the prevalence and incidences of anemia in pregnant female is very much high, is 38%. So the goal is to reduce the anemia. What are the causes of anemia? Various causes, maybe iron deficiency, maybe autoimmune diseases, maybe dietary deficiency can cause anemia. So maybe diseases like a kidney disease and deficiency of hormone known as erythropoietin. So basically the definition, you must know the normal hemoglobin concentration of, that is the in man or male or female, and there should be a more than 13 gram, and in female more than 12 to 30. It should be between 12 to 30, non-pregnant. So how would you define anemia? Basically either deficiency, absolute reduction in RBC cells count, quantitative and qualitative definition, reduction, and hemoglobin concentration. Third one is the new entity, hematocrit. So what is, for the young medicos, what is hematocrit? Basically hematocrit is the volume percentage of RBC in blood. So when we do manage a dengue fever or dengue shock syndrome, hematocrit is very much important in that situation. So this is the hematocrit, the simple hematocrit, and hematocrit is the volume percentage of RBC in blood. A normal value you must know in male and female, the normal value about 41 to 52, 51% in male and 36 to 45% in female. So there are certain conditions in which hematocrit decreases and it's too high. If it decreases, suggestive of anemia. So that's why it is included in the definition of anemia. RBC count is low hemoglobin concentration and low hematocrit. And it's too high. Hematocrit is too high. Too high in cases of dehydration like a dengue shock syndrome or dehydration because of this acute gastroenteritis and the polycythemia. So these are the conditions in which hematocrit is high or low. So second part is what are the causes of chronic kidney disease? You all know the causes. The most important causes is the diabetes. India is the capital of diabetes. That's why prevalence and incidences of diabetes are much more higher. It's maybe because of change in lifestyle or increase in obesity or change in dietary habit. Second is the hypertension. Diabetes, hypertension and cardiovascular risk factors are go around side by sides, all related to the metabolism. Then renal artery stenosis, may cause renal artery stenosis, and vasculitis and infection. Sometimes the obstructive uropathy is responsible for this chronic kidney disease, like bilateral renal artery stone, prostate hyperplasia in male, and rear windbone. So these are the causes of chronic kidney disease. Now how? This is the American Journal of Nephrology. It showed how the anemia is present in chronic kidney disease. Recent study. So basically in this study they are saying that relative deficiency of a hormone known as erythropoietin. Second is uremia can inhibit erythropoiesis. Third one, RBC lifespan, survival rate of RBC is low, and disorder of hemoptysis. Recently discovered a hormone, a short hormone known as hepcidin, is responsible for anemia in kidney disease, according to this study, American Journal of American Society of Nephrology. So how this is going to cause, the key point of this study are, okay, decrease in erythropoiesis. Erythropoietin is the hormone where it's going to form basically from the kidneys in adults and in the liver, in the perinatal area. In the fetus, it is formed in the liver. So both diseases, kidney disease and liver disease, can cause erythropoietin deficiencies and increase in a hormone which is formed in the liver, produced in the liver and secreted by the liver, known as hepcidin. And true iron deficiency. Third one is the iron deficiency. Fourth one is the chronic inflammation. Cytokines are responsible for this. And the lifespan of RBC is decreased. You all know 100 to 120 days the lifespan of RBC. It's going to decrease. So definitely it will cause anemia. And in this the study they are saying how to treat anemia in chronic kidney disease. Erythropoietin, exogenous erythropoietin, iron supplement, and the hepcidin inhibitors, the formation of this interleukin 6 stimulates the hepcidin, which is produced and released by the liver. And what is going to do? Ferroportin. It's going to decrease the ferroportin. What is ferroportin? It's a protein that controls the export of iron from gut and storage. You see in this slide how hepcidin is going to decrease the absorption of iron from gut, number one. Number two, from the macrophages or from the spleen, the iron storage release is halted or decreased. Number three, the deficiency of erythropoietin deficiency. So the ferroportin is decreased and export of iron from gut and the iron storage is decreased, and ultimately as a consequence will decrease the iron level and will halt the erythropoiesis. Another mechanism is the deficiency of a hormone, erythropoietin. So this is the, but I have explained in the previous slide is the same in the drama presentation for young medicos. Liver, the hepcidin is the hormone, is responsible for suppression of erythropoietin, suppression of absorption of iron from gut and from the storage. So how this hepcidin is controlled by multiple stimuli. Number one is the iron storage, feedback inefficient. Second is the hypoxemia. Third one is the inflammatory markers like interleukin 6. And ultimately the erythropoiesis. This hepcidin is a small peptide hormone which is filtered and degraded by the, if kidney failure is there, definitely like the insulin. In kidney failure, what happens? The insulin requirement drastically decreased. Why? Because the renal clearance of insulin is decreased. Same is here. This small hormone, hepcidin, the renal clearance is decreased. So ultimately it will cause the anemia. So again, the Journal of Nephrology in MACA again describe various mechanisms. Basically, they concentrated in the previous study, they concentrated how the anemia is present in cases of chronic kidney disease. Here they concentrated the iron deficiency anemia. So same is here. They found the hormone hepcidin is responsible for iron deficiency anemia. So when I was the student, I only know the iron in kidney disease, only one type of anemia is normocytic normochromic. Normocytic normochromic anemia is there, maximum patients of kidney disease, but in the recent research showed there is a deficiency of erythropoietin and iron deficiency too. And this hormone, hepcidin, which is produced, secreted and degraded and excreted by the kidney, is also responsible for the iron deficiency anemia in cases of chronic kidney disease. So basically you see in this diagram, so it's going to act on the duodenum and will cause the decrease in iron absorption from, and macrophages, negative effect on duodenum, negative effect on macrophage. So in conclusion, what is the effect of this study? This cause of anemia in chronic kidney disease is multifactorial. One is the inflammation, second is the reduction of erythrocyte count, suppression of bone marrow, uremia. Uremia can cause suppression of bone marrow and inadequate production of erythropoietin by the kidney. So again, etiologically, if you want to classify why anemia is there, decrease in production of RBC mean erythropoietin deficiency for young medicos. Decrease in erythropoiesis. Second, increased destruction of RBCs. How come? Shorten the lifestyle. By what? The uremic components. Like uremia can cause RBC destruction and blood loss. Where is the blood loss? One is the sort of hemolytic anemia, okay, decrease in the lifespan of RBC, number one. Number two, during the dialysis. In the dialyzer, the lot of blood is remained there. If a patient is dialyzed thrice a week, 3 times a week, dialyzed, in that situation, the loss of blood is there. For young medicos, you can like categorize like this: erythropoietin deficiency, decrease in production of it, high level of hepcidin, and increase in destruction, and the blood loss. Maybe GI blood loss, maybe blood loss during hemodialysis. So management. How would you manage? Can you do anything with hepcidin? Till date now, no. But you can give EPO, erythropoietin, iron supplementation, and blood transfusions. It may be Paxil, maybe whole blood. Okay, keep the hemoglobin target is 10. Hemoglobin target is 10. So various types of erythropoietins are there. So maybe this is the again glycoprotein which is formed by a kidney. Low level or high level is present. So basically stimulation is hypoxia. And before in adults, it is formed by the the proximal convoluted tubules, the fibroblasts of interstitial proximal convoluted tubules of the kidneys. But it's also produced by the liver. Okay. In perinatal period, it's formed by the perisinusoidal cells of liver. Two sources. Third one, if kidney fails, what to do? Then exogenous erythropoietin can be given. So this is the again the study which was published by the New England Journal of Medicine, which showed the how to correct anemia. Basically, they concentrated. You can give, okay, erythropoietin, exogenous erythropoietin. So, exogenous erythropoietin is all formed by the recombinant technology or cells culture technology. The most is alpha, apatin alpha, apatin beta are available in the market, and that the dosage must be given 100 units to 300 units per day, per kg, thrice a week, either thrice a week or once a week. That all depend upon the hematocrit level, hemoglobin concentration, and the hemoglobin level. So the target is that keep hemoglobin concentration above 10 milligram per deciliter, 10 gram per deciliter. So they are having some side effects too. You should be used cautiously and judiciously in cases of coronary, if a patient is having history of coronary artery disease, can precipitate MI, can precipitate venous thromboembolic phenomena, can precipitate stroke, can cause tumor. But we have to treat anemia. Anemia can kill with infection, with a cardiovascular risk factor too, and can cause heart failure too. So that's why the judicious use of exogenous erythropoietin is must. So dose is 100 to 300 units per kg, weekly or thrice a week. If target is not achieved, increase the dose of erythropoietin 300 units per kg 3 times a week. So again, this study hemoglobin and hematocrit target in cases of anemia I explained already to you. More than 10, and hematocrit in male and female should be kept in the range, comfortable range. Iron supplement is very easy to give, but IV iron is different preparation and the formulations are available by different trade names in the market. So dextran, sucrose and maltose are available in the market. So dextran means cosmophore and in fat, low molecular weight or high molecular weight. Recently we are using low molecular weight. And iron sucrose. But if iron maltose, trade name is monophor, the newer formulation for parental iron drug. Newer formulation can be given 20 milligram per kg body weight or single dose. Single dose. You can correct the iron deficit with a single dose. Oral preparation by mouth, you can give the iron sulfates. Can be complexed with vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and dextran and glucose. And newer thing is, which is 23 times more potent, is the heme iron polypeptides. by oral preparation. I don't know whether it's available in India or not. Till date, not. So, the ferrous glycine sulfate inhibitor are new one for the management of anemia by the oral route. If the side effect. In nutshell, the causes of anemia in kidney failure are EPO deficiency, erythropoietin deficiency, uremia, and shortened erythropoietin lifestyle, and disorder of iron hemostasis, iron deficiency, and recently discovered hepcidin excess is responsible for anemia. Thank you very much. This is all about how you should treat anemia and what are the causes and who is responsible for anemia. Any question, any query, most welcome. If not, if I am so smart, all conveyed to you very nicely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.